Welcome back to the channel, you guys. So check this out on the Barber's Eye channel today. I'm gonna walk you through a haircut. Not only walk you through, but I'm gonna show you what I'm doing and how I think when I'm cutting hair. At the same time, how everything's moving together. Well, I'm cutting and I'm also talking to my guy and also cutting his hair and getting the job done. All right, you guys. The first thing you want to do, you always want to adjust your chair to where it fits you, because everybody's height is different, whether you're a woman or a man, and you want to make sure that you're in a position where you can see the lighting's good, and also that you're able to move them around so you're not chasing him in the chair. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys learned this in school or if you guys knew about this, but see this mat right here on the floor? It's actually made to protect your feet, protect your body, because you're standing up all day. So while I'm moving in the mat, and I have a habit of doing this, sometimes if someone's watching the game or they're doing something, I'll walk around and I'll get off the mat, but I won't spend a lot of time off the mat because this is definitely more comfortable than standing on wood, you know what I mean? So first thing I do, always drape my guy first, get him situated. You know, as you learn how to cut, you always want to make sure that you're doing the same thing each time. You don't want a different cut every time you cut the hair. You cut the same person, because that don't make no sense. You wouldn't go to McDonald's, order a Big Mac, and it tastes like a regular hamburger. You want to make sure that when you make an order, you do the same thing all the time, unless the person wants something different or they want something different done. Designs, maybe, you know, leave it longer in certain areas, or they want the beard shaped a certain way. But other than that, I mean, you always keep it the same. So as I'm going through the cut, what's going through my mind is this. I'm cutting, I'm talking to Rome, we're talking about his day, what's going on with him, anything he got going on, because it's Friday today, so most of the time I cut his hair on Friday. So I ask him what has he got planned for the weekend, and you know, we'll kind of go back and forth with that, and just kind of, you know, as you throughout the years and the time, you'll get to know people and know their lifestyle. So it's easier to talk to people when you kind of talk to them over and over, because they know you and you know them. So there's some barbers out there that I know that are quiet. They don't say anything. That's all right if you don't want to talk to your person, but at the same time, I mean, those people are sitting in your chair. They're there for service. You know what I mean? And it's okay. Some people want to be quiet. They don't want to say anything, and that's all right too. I don't mind. Someone sits in my chair and they're quiet. I'm fine with that too. But for the most part, most people want to conversate, you know, talk about stuff. There's a barber rule that's important for you guys to understand and notice. So your people that come in that you get to know on a personal level, they'll tell you things, and sometimes they'll tell you some deep things about themselves, things that they've been through, and you really want to keep that between you and that person. You don't want to talk about your client in front, problems with other people. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to talk about that person's stuff with another person in front of people. You know, it's privacy. You know, you want to respect that. So, and as a barber or stylist, whatever, you know, people tend to tell us some stuff. You know, now there's occasions where I'll have someone come in and something funny will happen, and then if I'm talking to someone else, I mention something funny, but I won't mention nothing personal. Nothing personal that person told me. Nothing personal that you know, nothing on a deeper level. Just funny stuff or interesting stuff, but nothing crazy, nothing personal like that. And as I'm cutting too, I have a tendency of moving, and that's because for me is I'm always just cutting and moving, and that doesn't mean I'm going fast or I'm going too fast. That just means that in my mind I have my flow. Every barber, everybody who has a craft, there's this thing called a flow state of mind, and I get into my flow state of mind when I'm cutting. Especially like tomorrow, I know that I have a booked schedule. I'm back to back tomorrow. In my mind, when I start cutting, I want to get into that flow state of mind to where I just want to chop. You know what I mean? Make sure I'm talking to my guys coming in. Make sure that I do a good job, and make sure that I'm flowing. You know what I mean? So that's another thing to think about when you're cutting hair. So again, I do have a tendency to move like this, and normally I probably would, but in order to save your body, use your chair. That your chair is a part of your tool, you know what I mean? When you're cutting hair too, you always want to like go in steps and not go backwards. You know, that meaning that you don't want to do one thing like taper and then keep going over the taper about 5 times, because you're wasting time, energy, and over time you're going to waste income, because you want to be efficient. You know, you want to be efficient with your time, you want to be efficient with your cuts. So you got to know that what you're doing is right. You know what I mean? Meaning that you have to have confidence in knowing how to cut hair, because if not, you're going to be going back and forth, you're going to be double checking everything, and you're never going to feel like the cut's done. So I tell you what though, when I go over the top, I go over it 2 times, because I do the tapers or the fade, and then at the end I'll go over it 1 more time just in case I missed anything, you know what I mean? And a lot of times when you're cutting, your person on the chair doesn't even know what you're doing. They just know, they trust you in cutting their hair, so they just expect you to get the job done. So I happen to have some times where people go, did you go over the top? They didn't even realize I went over the top like 2 times, but I got it. That's my job, you know what I mean? That's what I do. So I just let them know, yeah, you got it, and keep it moving. So with a taper, you do the same thing. See, in my mind, everything's a step for me, because I don't guess, I don't, you know, maybe. There's none of that in my mind. It's pure steps, pure confidence, pure just, I know I could get the job done, you know what I mean? So I go in, use my steps, and when I say steps, that means a plan, because you always want to have a plan when you cut hair. What you do on this side, you do on this side. You can't do something different on this side and something different on the other side. It doesn't work that way. The haircut's gonna be off. I got some people I've been cutting for years, and I know their kids are young adults now, and it's just crazy, you know what I mean? And crazy to be part of that growth and that change. And I got some customers, like I got a guy that came in today. I've been cutting his hair since the beginning of high school. Now he's driving here, and he's on his senior ball, and I cut his hair for his senior ball. So it's just a trip, you know what I mean? So these relationships are important, and I know people joke around and say, oh, you guys are like therapists. I mean, yeah, but I didn't go to therapy school, so I'm not a therapist, but I'm a person that will you could talk to, you know what I mean? We are people you can talk to, and I share my stories too, my frustrations. I go back, you know, I still share my personal thoughts. So I don't really look at it as like a therapist, because a therapist is not going to tell you what they're going through, you know. So you just gotta have fun with it and kind of look at it as a human aspect of it. One thing to think about too when you're cutting hair, everybody's hairstyle is different. Everybody has different facial features, the styles. You know, that's the cool thing about the barber industry, is like you never know who's gonna walk in the door with what style, you know what I mean, or what they like, and you know that's the fun part about it. And everybody's different, man. You got characters, you got people. Some people are calm, you know, you got different personalities coming in. You could do what you want to do, you know. I mean, as a barber, you can create your persona, how you want to look, how you want to sound. I mean, it's really up to you. You know, this is one thing, you know, I'll have another video that's coming up, and it talks about having your comb in your hand all the time. And if I don't have a comb in my hand, I have a brush. And I've been holding combs and brushes in my hand for so many years. It's just a normal and a habit now, you know what I mean? It's unnormal if I don't have something in my hand like this. But you want to make it a habit, because, and someone may say, you know, why it's unnecessary to have, you know, your comb in your hand or a brush or whatever. And the reason why I say you should have that in your hand, because you're always brushing, you're always moving. If you want to taper something in, you could use it to taper it in, clean up a little part. Because if you don't, you're always going to be rushing back and forth and trying to, you know, grab your tools. You always have your comb. That way you're always moving. So it is important too to have it on you all the time. For the people that are really getting into this industry and want to do it for a long time and really eat, breathe, and live this lifestyle, you gotta like do things for yourself to help your mental and help your emotions and help yourself. Because if you're not mentally prepared for this type of stuff, then you can't help anybody. You know what I mean? You can't talk to people. You can't relate to people. And if you got things set up, like it's just so important, you know what I mean, to have some type of outlet for yourself. And I don't mean drinking or smoking weed or anything like that. I mean something more for the mind, you know what I mean, to relax. I'm talking more of, I'll just let you guys know too, every time I have this on someone's back of their head, I always, all the time, spray it before I put it on there. I spray it, and then I wipe it down. And that way, it's clean, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to have, you know, it's getting summertime, it's hot, people sweat, and you want to make sure that you're at least make sure that your environment is clean for your guy or your person. So when you put that down like this, make sure they're comfortable. Get the chair, lean them back here, and again, you want to put the person to where you're able to work, because if you're able to work good, you're able to do the best job you can do. So I'm gonna put them a little bit down because that works better for me. Now I could see everything across, everything down. And why that's important too, because the way his beard's structured, I could see everything. I could see from here, I could see the sides, I could see where I could taper in, I could see above right here. You have everything that you need to see this whole, the whole face, you know what I mean? Pull this down if you need right there, and start getting to work. It's very important for you to know your tools, because, and when I say know your tools, is you gotta know how Andis cuts. You gotta know what this clipper is different. This is a number 2, and it's different from a wall number 2. You know, one's thinner, one's thicker. So you gotta understand, you know, the differences of how they cut and the numbers. This is 1/4, this is 1/4, this is the number 2, this is number 2, but look how in depth this is different, you know what I mean, different sizes. So it's important to know that, and the reason why is because some of these tools on some folks' heads and beards cut differently. So you want to be able to use your tool the most effective way, you know what I mean? And you want to make sure that the tool is made for a purpose, and you're using that tool to get the best thing you could out of that cut, you know what I mean, to get the best style and the results you can. Here's another tip for you guys. So whenever you're doing any type of lineups on the beards, anything, your cut, so you always want to use the mirror all the time, because you could look at it this an angle right here, and you could think it's straight, but I tell you what though, that mirror don't lie. The mirror tells the truth, people lie. No. So you want to be able to use the mirror, that way you could see it straight. You see it straight here, and you look in the mirror and you can see it straight there. So you're basically double backing your haircut up with more eyes, basically more view into the cut, and so it's just gonna come out better. And you know what you don't see, your mirror will tell you. I don't know if you guys ever experienced this yourself, where you can take a picture with the haircut, and certain things will start coming out of that picture of that haircut, you know, dark spots, this and that, because lighting, the lens, all that plays a role in what's there, you know what I mean? So that's something important to know, important to remember. The reason why I say you got to be ready, you know, mentally and stuff, because you got to remember, when you're cutting hair and you're really cutting hair, that means that your books are full, you're talking to different people, you're meeting different people, you know, you're constantly, you're on an 8-hour day. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that, you know what I mean? I mean, you're hearing people's situations or problems, stuff they're going through, you know, vacations coming up, and you're hearing a lot of information within those hours of the day. So you know, to be in a good headspace, it's good because, like I said, it's healthier for you, and you could pay attention to your client more, your person, and your guy, your girl. You know, the person that's in your chair. You can give them your full direct um, uh, attention. Because imagine if you're booked full and you're dealing with personal drama, and you're bringing it to work, and you're talking about all your personal drama, and you're talking about your baby's mom or your girl, whatever's going on. You know, I mean, in my view, it's not professional. You know what I mean? And it's not fair for your person that comes in, because you know it's their time. You know, they're paying you for a service. Try to give them the best service you can. For me, the best thing about cutting hair is meeting people. I understand that for sure about myself. That's what something I really enjoy about this field, and it's the people. It's meeting different people. Like I said, just talking about relating and stuff, man. Throughout the years, I was told this by my first mentor: take care of your body. You know, as you grow into this field, because you are, you know, like I go to the gym for about an hour and a half, 4 to 5 days a week. But I didn't do that in the beginning because I didn't, you know, I had to build my clientele and I had to create that time frame. But now I do, and I do this quite often. But I do it because, you know, my mentor told me to make sure I take care of my body. So that always stuck with me. So that's a big part of the reason why I exercise now, because I don't want to be unhealthy as I get older, you know. And I want to have longevity, you know. I want to be able to cut for a very long time. I want to be old and cut, you know. So that's one of my reasons for going to the gym and stick your lip out for me there, and taking care of my body as I'm longer in this field, you know. Unfortunately, everybody knows this, but as we get older, our bodies get weaker. It's harder to build muscle, you know. You lose muscle quicker. So if you could take care of your body sooner, you'll probably do yourself a favor in the long run, you know, by looking better, feeling better, and just being healthier overall. The hours I work, there's no way for me I could do this all day long standing up, being overweight or feeling not feeling my best. So yeah, so I do advise you to find some type of workout, some type of meditation, something that makes your mind feel better, and you know, handle it. You know what I mean? So this is what I call the same thing. Like sanitation is what you're going to learn while you're in school, and it's one of those most important things that you do learn, because at the end of the day, the state board wants to know that when people are coming into your chair, their sanitation is put at the first, meaning that you're protecting them from viruses, from any type of blood-borne pathogens spreading, anything like that. But that's your responsibility as a barber to be clean, spray your clippers, change your blades, all that. So that's part of our responsibility. So saying that, this is what I do, and you could do it too if you want to. So I have this, my straight blade, right? And then I change every cut, every person, I change the blade. What I do though, again, I use this stuff here. This is the lubricant, the blade clipper cleaner, all that. So what I do, and I do it quick. I don't do it, you know, slow. I move fast when I cut. You know what I mean? So I spray real quick. I have my towel I put to the side, and I just wipe it off real quick. I wipe it off, and that's just for me to know that when you use this blade, sometimes hair particles, skin gets underneath, and if you just go in and change the blade, you're still leaving the residue in there. So it's just, in my opinion, it's good to clean it off. So now I have a clean blade, a clean shaver, and now I have a clean blade. So I go in here and go in here, and then what I do is, because I've been cutting, you get hair on your hands, you get hair on your skin, I'll simply get some spray that has alcohol, spray my hands real quick, and then I add alcohol with this already has alcohol in it, but I put a little bit more, into the aftershave that I have here, and I always clean my hands with it, you know what I mean? Especially because of COVID time, so it's something important to know. So now that's done. So when your guy, you know, your person's sitting back, chilling, that person, remember, that person is relaxed. That person is in a state where they're chilling because they trust you, right? Because you've been cutting their hair, you've been doing what you've been doing. So that person is just chilling. So remember, it's your responsibility to do your job and make sure that you do it right. You know what I mean? It happens if you make a mistake, if you cut certain things too short or something happens. The most important thing to know is how to fix it. So when I first started cutting hair, I was cutting hair in Jordans, and I was cutting hair in, I tried to wear nice shoes. And when you're standing on your feet for 8 hours or so or more, and your feet start to hurt, like, Jordans are not comfortable to cut in like I thought they were. Really, really nice shoes, a lot of them are not comfortable to cut in. So if you find something comfortable, I say get some shoes that's separate from your personal shoes and just cut. You know what I mean? I know everybody, the look is important, but like I said, at the end of the day, I'm here to do a good job. I'm more focused on the cut rather than what I look like. I wear pretty much a white t-shirt basically every day. Another dope thing about barbering is that when you start to meet people and cut their hair for a very long time, then if they get married, I got like 2 weddings I got invited to, I'm gonna go to, that these folks I've been cutting for a long time, and it's cool, you know what I mean? I mean, you're going, and your cut that you cut, these people are going to go take pictures. So your cut's gonna be in someone's lives for years, decades, centuries. I mean, I know some people's like, that's a lot, that's a big way to think about it, but it really is, you know what I mean? I mean, we look at that type of stuff, you know what I mean? People that say, oh, hair is not a big issue, I don't believe that. There's a lot of, hair's been part of people's lives, identity, and feelings and emotions for so long that it matters, man. And the barber job and the cosmetology job is important. It's an important thing to do, you know what I mean? And it's not just some rando job. I mean, it's a big responsibility, you know what I mean? You're intimately touching people, you're not intimate, but like closely, you know what I mean? And so it's a big thing. All right, you guys, that's the end of the cut, man. My last thing I want to leave with you guys is that, remember, if you just keep cutting and spend some time on your work, spend some time on what you're doing, you're gonna get better and better. All right, you guys, I'll see you on the next video. Check it out.